What is up, real estate agent community? Some of you watching this live, some of you are going to be watching this because somebody that cares about you sent this video to you, or you may have discovered it on your own. My name is Joe Herrera. I operate a real estate team out of Las Vegas, Nevada. We have satellite teams in other locations, but primarily we're in Las Vegas. 3-minute story of how we ended up at Real Broker. About 2.5 years ago, Real Broker came into our world. There was about 2,000 agents in the company, and Real was not in the state of Nevada yet. We operated our own independent brokerage. And to be honest with you, I was independent brokerage focused, and I just thought there was no better option than owning your own brokerage. When I was exposed to Real Broker and I came to understand some of the benefits, 5 of which I'm going to go over with you today, I couldn't unsee what I saw. So Taylor and I, along with our 70 agents at the time, 70 or 80 agents, transitioned our independent brokerage into Real Broker. We opened the state of Nevada. We were agents right around 2000. Fast forward now, that was June of 2021. It's now November, December 2023. And everything has really, I mean, the market is more challenging than we'd like it to be, but our relationship with Real has been the most rewarding experience of our career, not just for us, because if it was only a win for us, it wouldn't have grown the way it's grown. But each of our agents who have bought into the ecosystem that is Real Broker have seen massive improvements. And in going over these 5 things, I'm going to talk about what those 5 things are, how they benefit brokerage owners, team leaders, and yes, independent agents and solo practitioners. So let's get into reason number 1. When I think about Real Broker, and I think about reason number 1 is every single time we evaluate a real estate brokerage opportunity. So Taylor and I had a small stint at Coldwell Banker, but for the most part, we were RE/MAX agents. And then we ended up transitioning into independent brokerage ownership. We operated 2 brokerages, and then we moved over to Real. Well, whenever we looked at RE/MAX or Brookshire or Coldwell Banker or Keller Williams or any of the other companies, what we would always do is say, what does it cost us, and what would then be the benefit? And so generally, the cost for us ended up being somewhere in the $12,000 to $20,000 per each of us, and then our agents as team members, maybe half of that. So when we looked at our relationship with RE/MAX, I think our annual fees that Taylor and I each paid probably came out to somewhere around $12,000 to $14,000. Well, in return, we got the use of the brand, and we got the brokerage support and technology. Not only that, but we also, you have to be affiliated with a brokerage. So on our profit and loss statement, our relationship with our brokerage would always be a liability. It would not be a profit. It would be a loss. So our accountant would look at our brokerage relationship and say, it cost you as an individual $14,000 to belong to brokerage X. There were no financial benefits to brokerage affiliation outside of I could receive my commissions. So every single brokerage operates the same way. There's a cost associated. You can receive your commissions. Well, what Real did is they said, if you close enough transactions, we will pretty close to eliminate your brokerage fees. And the way they do it is through the Elite Agent program. So now if you're a brokerage owner, a brokerage owner that does any business, it would be very easy for you to hit. A team leader, it'll be relatively easy for you to hit. And for a strong producing agent, it'll be really easy for you to hit. So how do we eliminate our brokerage fees? Well, for Taylor and I, the easiest way to think of it is if you looked at our profit and loss statement, it would cost us about $18,000 a year to belong to Real. We have a $12,000 cap, and we have $6,000 in post-cap transaction fees. It takes about 30 transactions, give or take, in order to hit that $18,000 paid. So from a profit and loss statement, if nothing else is factored in, then that's just a cost of doing business. But what Real does is they say, if you hit your cap of $12K and you pay your $6,000 worth of transaction fees, we are now going to grant you $16,000 worth of stock. So now an $18,000 cost brings in a $16,000 benefit. So if you're decent at math, you'd say, okay, cool. Well, you're still $2,000 behind. So if you do nothing else but hit elite status, then your calendar year 2024 would cost you $2,000 to belong to Real if you hit elite status. Now that's assuming the stock does not gain in valuation. So if the stock stays the same value for its entire life, you will have paid in $18,000 and got a $16,000 benefit. Now, one of the ways that Real bridges that gap and actually like dramatically increases it is through the cultural award. So if you're culturally active in your community involving Real Broker, i.e. being a great ambassador, then Real will grant you an additional $8,000 worth of stock for the cultural award. You can achieve it either by, like I was on the phone today with some of our friends in Texas who are very active in the charitable community, in their local community. And so they'll achieve their cultural award by doing things like that. I've gotten the cultural award by teaching once a month in the Real Academy. So a virtual academy where every agent at Real in North America can log in and watch one of my classes. So I've received $8,000 in cultural award for teaching those 12 classes. So now over the course of a year, keep in mind, I paid $18,000. They granted me $16,000 worth of stock for hitting elite status. And then I was given an additional $8,000 for teaching in the Real Academy, i.e. getting the cultural award. So now I received a $24,000 benefit at an $18,000 cost. Now, this doesn't factor in my commissions. This is just purely an accountant saying it cost you $18,000 to be at that brokerage and you received a $24,000 benefit. So reason number one, every agent, regardless of if you own a brokerage, if you're a team leader or a top producer, whatever, a team member, should look at Real in 2024 is the complete elimination of your fees, i.e. you can pay 18 and you can get 24. In my opinion, number one is a no-brainer. So let's talk about reason number two. Owning a brokerage was a dream of mine. When I got into real estate, it was always like, man, someday I want to be a brokerage owner. I did it twice, and it wasn't all that it was cracked up to be, because owning my independent brokerage ended up being like, I was the guy that they would come to and say, hey, Joe, we don't have any toilet paper. That wasn't the greatest thing. And I also had all financial liability for anything that went wrong. What Real has done is said, going along with number one, as you produce, we are going to give you ownership in the company. So over the last 2.5 years, I've acquired somewhere around 80 to 100,000 shares of stock at Real. That makes me a shareholder, i.e. an owner of the brokerage. Now, I don't have to get all the toilet paper, and I'm not on the hook for every mistake any agent ever made, but I've been given ownership in the company for doing my job. Now, other companies reward you in different ways. Sometimes it's like a crystal statue to say like, hey, you were one of our top producing agents. Sometimes it's a pat on the back or an attaboy. So it may be a reward trip to go to Mexico with the brokerage ownership, whatever it is. For me, my main concern is my wife and my 4 kids and our financial future. So if I look into the crystal ball and say, okay, I've been a producer at this company, which then made me an owner, a shareholder of the company. Right now, our stock is trading at like $1.50 a share. It's not going to change anybody's life to own 100,000 shares of stock at $1.50 a share. But do I believe that there will be growth in the stock ownership? Right now, stock analysts value our stock as a target price of somewhere in between like $2.25 to, I even saw up to like $3.40. So now if I look at it and go, all right, I've spent, call it $50,000 to belong to this brokerage over 2.5 years. I've been given, call it 100,000 shares of stock for doing my job and for producing, and then broadcast that down the road to say, in 5 years, is it feasible that the stock is $4 a share? you then look at it and go, man, for $50,000, I got a potential benefit of $200,000, $300,000, $400,000, like that seamless ownership opportunity without me having to do anything crazy and invest a whole bunch of money and things like that, just doing my job. Reason number two, again, is a no-brainer why, if you're sitting at a traditional brokerage, you should really take a look at the opportunity that Real provides. So let's talk about number three. Technology is something that all of us are aware of. Like, I don't know about you, but the last time I went to McDonald's, I ordered my 20-piece chicken nugget. I really shouldn't eat 20 pieces, but I did. A 20-piece chicken nugget off of a machine. Like, I didn't even have to talk to the person up front. I did the same thing at El Pollo Loco. So I know for a fact that the restaurant industry is doing everything they can to eliminate the cost of employees through the use of technology. There's now going to be restaurants that are 100% technology based. So like, you'll order off of a computer, a robot will make your food, and you'll go pick it up, and like a human will have never touched it. Well, in real estate, there are technology companies that are out there trying to eliminate your job as a real estate professional. Real Broker is not one of them. One of the things that Taylor and I looked at when we came to Real was the CTO of the company, Pritesh Damani, is an absolute genius. And as we looked at what he had built and we talked to him about what he was trying to build, we were like, dude, this is amazing. And why is it so amazing? Two reasons. Number one, thinking about the shareholder, the seamless ownership opportunity we talked about, the number one question I had for Pritesh is, who owns this technology you're building? And it was a little bit confusing for him because he was like, well, the company owns it. And I was like, well, who owns the company? He's like, the shareholders. So I was like, all right, cool. So all of this amazing technology that Pritesh is building, number one, is owned by the shareholders of the company, which I become as I do my job. Reason number two, the technology the company is building is not intended to replace the real estate agent. This is so important. If you look at other companies in the real estate space, you've got Zillow, you've got Realtor.com, you've got Homes.com, you've got all these technology providers. They really want to minimize not only the role, but the compensation that real estate agents receive for doing their job. Now, compensation is a hot topic in 2024, so I'm not even going to dive into that. But what I will tell you is Real Broker's technology is not meant to replace, but to actually enhance the role of the real estate agent. And so it's like, how do we make the agent's job more efficient? How do we make communication between the agent and the client drastically improved? So all of the technology that Real endeavors to build is to enhance the life of the real estate agent. Let me give you one more bonus. At the Real Rise conference, Real announced the Real Wallet. So think about this. One of the pain points that agents have always had with their brokerage is, how quick can I get paid? Well, Real's going to make it so that your payment is nearly instantaneous. But not only that, let's say you need access to your commission before you actually even close the transaction. They can make that happen. Think about it this way. Commission advances have always been somewhat taboo in the real estate space. Real is going to be giving each of their agents their own, number one, line of credit, and number two, their own Real credit card. So I can show up for Christmas and my wife can say like, hey, we need to buy some things. And even if I haven't had a great couple of months and I may have a bunch of deals in escrow, but not a bunch of money in my pocket, I can use my Real credit card. This is actually my American Express, but I can use my Real credit card as draws against future commissions, because Real will have all of the data on my production, knowing that I'm going to be doing business in the future. So Real Wallet will enable me to draw against future commissions. It'll enable me to, if I wanted to, rather than putting my money in my personal bank account and getting virtually no interest on it, they will come up with a program where I can leave my commissions in my Real account. And then Real will pay me interest on my own money. I can use my Real credit card to, if I receive a commission, I use my Real credit card, which then is paid by my commissions. The points that I get can go toward paying my actual real estate fees and dues. So anyways, this is a much broader topic, but agent-obsessed technology is one of the reasons why every agent should be taking a look at Real in 2024. Reason number 4, the real estate space is very competitive. Like when I first got my real estate license, I was at a company called Prudential Americana Group here in Las Vegas. And I remember I was in a bullpen and I got my desk and like there were agents to my left and to my right. And my hope was that we were all in this together, like Zac Efron sings about. But we weren't. They were doing their thing and I was doing my thing. Well, that type of competitive environment existed for quite a while in my real estate career until we ended up at Real. And what I found at Real is that the collaboration at its core is the strongest growth opportunity I've seen in my real estate career. And here's why. Part of it is when you're working with an agent from a collaboration standpoint in another marketplace, it becomes much easier for you to share secrets with each other. And so one of the things Real does is it exposes you to a bigger world. So it's not just the individual sitting to your left or to your right in a bullpen, but you're hopping on calls with agents from all across North America. And I don't know about you, but it's much easier for me to share my trade secrets with a guy in Ohio than it is with the agent sitting next to me in a desk. So collaboration is at the core of everything we do at Real Broker. And if you're in a competitive environment where you're like, dude, the market's kind of tough and I'm not getting help from the office next to me or the desk next to me, and my broker is absolutely clueless, this is a great opportunity for you to look at something like what we're doing at Real, because the heart of everything we do is collaboration. All right, last but not least, let's talk about reason number 5, which is additional revenue streams. So I've talked to Tamir, our CEO, about this. People will ask us a lot of times, like, is Real an MLM? Well, MLM has become like a dirty word. What an MLM is a multi-tiered compensation system where generally people get into the company for being an MLM. Well, that's not what Real is all about. Here's how Tamir sees revenue share, the revenue share program at Real. The gold jacket, which if I was ever at Century 21, I'd wear that thing every day. So the gold jacket, the hot air balloon, all those things, they were all intended to be a marketing engine for the company. So if you think about Remax, you think about the balloon. You used to think about Century 21 and it was the gold jacket. I don't know why they ever went away from that. Tamir looked at it and said, well, what if the lives of our real estate agents were our marketing engine? So then rather than spending money on commercials and flying hot air balloons at football games and things like that, what if your life as a real estate practitioner, the excitement and joy you find in the collaboration, the ownership you have in the company, what if all of the things that you do becomes the marketing engine for the company and it works? So you become this individual in your marketplace or in the industry where 10 people over the course of a year are like, hey, I'm curious about what you've got going over there. It seems like you're building and growing and producing. What if the company said like, hey, thank you for bringing your friends. Rather than running a radio commercial in College Station, Texas, or in Atlanta, Georgia, you are a marketing engine for us. And so rather than paying a radio station, we just want to compensate you. So Real has built their revenue share system to where you can receive up to about $4,000 per year per agent you've attracted into the company. I don't know about you, but our team production is down somewhere in between 25 to 30% this year. I've been very grateful in 2023 that we've been so active on agent attraction, because I'll tell you, my family doesn't really know much about our real estate team production being down because they haven't seen dad getting out the spam, although I do love spam and rice. But I'm not feeding my family spam every night because I'm worried about paying my bills. Because this additional revenue stream from agent attraction has been a massive part of our financial life in 2023 and will continue to be in 2024. So guys, all these things said, these are just 5 very basic things I've learned over the last 2 years of being at Real. And to be honest, have a confidential conversation. Like, hit me up, hit up the person that sent you this video, hit up your favorite Real agent. Just say like, hey, I'd love to know what it looks like for me, because here's the truth of all of it. My reasons may not be yours. And in your life, my reasons are probably largely irrelevant. So the question you have to ask yourself is, what are your reasons? What are your motivations for being a little bit stuck in the mud, possibly being a little bit unhappy where you currently are, or possibly seeing a greater opportunity somewhere else, because your reasons are infinitely more important than mine. If you hit me up and said, hey, here's what I'm looking at, how would Real solve my problem? I can match make pretty well. These are the 5 things that mean something to me, but there's probably an additional 20 things that may make a difference in your life. And my only hypothesis is you owe it to yourself to take a look, because the reality is this is where the industry is going. If you look at the trends, so many brokerages are losing agents at an alarming rate, and Real is the #1 growing brokerage based on its agent count. So if you look at some of the trends, and I've done some other videos about this, Real is gaining agents at a faster pace based on its size than any other real estate brokerage. There's a reason why, and you owe it to yourself just to take a look. So I'm 20 minutes and 58 seconds into this. I said 20 minutes. Thanks for checking this out. Hit me up if you have any questions. You could Instagram at Joe Herrera, or if somebody else sent you this video, hit them up. Just say, hey, I watched the video. I've got a couple of questions. I want to talk to you about my reasons and to see if Real has something to offer for me, because I'll tell you, I'm pretty sure it will. Have a great day.